W for the win! So I'm gonna help you out here by telling everybody that you guys are gonna take my Hellcat for an hour, do some filming. So they gotta go to your channel. I'll put a link in the description below and watch your video about my Hellcat that they're gonna take away from me probably next week. So, too bad you can't drive yet, right?
Yep.
But I'll give you the keys, you give it to your dad. All right, now here's the deal. If you total it, it solves all the problems. As long as you guys are okay, that's all that matters, but it solves all my problems because they'll just pay off the bank and I move on. Maybe make a little bit of money. But just don't kill anybody or don't get killed. All right, because without him, I would not know how to do math or how to play the stock market or anything that takes a brain. All right, get the hell out of here, have fun. All right, go follow W for the win. I hope they bring it back in one piece. Or at least hope they come back in one piece. Woo! Love that car.
1 hour later.
Is it in one piece?
Yep.
Are you in one piece?
Tile hot, but maybe.
Tires are hot?
Parts are in the trunk.
The parts are in the trunk? What'd you think?
Pretty close.
Cool.
You get like half of one donut.
Oh, good. You gotta do a whole donut. That's the way to go. Whole donut.
Freaked out.
Yeah? Did you get nervous?
No.
No?
No.
Bah, you did?
No, he's like no donut. It's too much.
Oh,
Well, no,
geez.
there were three in the two.
Well, cool. Well, everybody needs to check out your video.
Yep, tonight.
Tonight? You're gonna upload already?
Tanya.
All right. If you tell them, you gotta do it.
Alright.
All right.
Here's the keys to this awesome brand new 2022 Hellcat.
Woo! I may only have them for a few more days. Yes, he gave me a Hot Wheel, but look at this Hot Wheel.
He gets the cool ones.
I know.
Yeah, that's awesome. He finds like really good ones.
Watch out for my car. It's really tight. And welcome back to another video. And after last weekend's video where I shared with you all that the Hellcat is going to most likely have to go back to the dealership I bought it from due to emissions issues, I am mentally spent. Yes, it is frustrating beyond belief to even consider having to go through this, but so many of you have had questions. And I want to answer those questions today. I want to make sure I'm really clear about what took place, and I want to make sure that this doesn't happen to any of you. But before we get started, I want to thank W for the win because I let them take my Hellcat, and I'm sure some of you are like, how do you just hand your keys to that beautiful Hellcat over to people? Well, the reason I do that is I love to share this car and all my cars with people and have them experience the joy that comes along with driving one of these things. I would like to experience the joy for many years owning this car, but it turns out that's likely not going to happen unless the dealership calls me this week and tells me that they solved the problem, which maybe could happen, but I'm telling you everything I've read so far, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. But I want to thank W for the win because he, after they took my car for a drive and did some filming, left me a really cool Dodge Challenger drift car, which maybe my next car needs to be a Challenger again. I don't know. I've had, 3 of those and 2 of these, so I don't know. Maybe I get another Challenger. We'll see what happens there. But we're going to talk about, well, mainly what happened, your questions that you've put in the comments, why this happened, what I've discovered so far, an update to what I've heard from the dealership so far, and basically hopefully fill all the holes that I left in my last video when I was just rapidly trying to share with you all what's been going on. And now let's pop the hood, set up the tripod, and give you that update. All right, so let's begin by just showing you the sticker that has caused all this grief. That sticker right here that says, not for sale, states with California emission standards. That, folks, is where everything went sideways. All right, quick recap for those that are new to the channel. So basically, I bought or ordered this 2022 Hellcat from a dealership right outside of St. Louis, Missouri, because they sold me my Scat Pack back in the middle of last year at sticker price, where in California you could not get a car for sticker price. They were charging $10,000, $15,000 markups, and they treated us great. The salesman even gave me a case of Red Bull for the 2,000-mile drive home. So I do appreciate them and still have a tremendous affinity for them, regardless of some of the challenges that we're dealing with right now. And I just want you to know that this was human error what has taken place. But let's go back. So ordered the car. Actually, it was back when I bought the Scat Pack. I said, let's put the order in for the Hellcat, but that was middle of last year, 2021. Orders couldn't get put in till around November. As soon as they could, they were Johnny on the spot, called me up, said, boom, your order is in for your beautiful indigo blue Hellcat with the peanut butter interior and the sunroof exactly how you wanted it. I said, thank you so much. They sent me the build sheet, and we were just waiting for it to get built. And around March 25th, the car arrived in 2022, just a couple of months ago, just under about a month and a half ago. Car arrived and it was a beautiful day. Go check out my other videos to watch delivery day. It was awesome. It was so exciting to have the car show up. It was the first time I really ordered a car and waited for that car to show up, and the anticipation made the arrival so much better and so much more enjoyable. And when it showed up, it was like, in my mind, like this car is going to be with me for at least another year or so until I order a 2023. But nonetheless, it got here and I was excited. And then, as normal, per usual, the paperwork takes a little bit of time to come from the California DMV, which would require a verification of the VIN number with the DMV and getting it smogged. No problem with the Scat Pack. Figured it's going to be no problem with the Hellcat. Why would I think there would be anything different than with the Scat Pack to the Hellcat? Because all cars, I believed at the time, were 50 state legal, which even I believe the dealership believed that as well. So everything was fine until I went to go smog the car. When I smogged the car, a sheet came out that said notice of non-compliance, and then everything started to spiral. And that little sticker underneath the hood told the story, which is this car should have never been sold to me. And frankly, if you read all the articles online, it was illegally sold to me. Not intentionally illegally sold to me, but it should not have been sold in California at all. And here's why. And what I found out over this last week in just doing some searching, and really I wanted to understand, like, how could this happen? Because so many of you have had some great questions as to, well, does that mean Hellcats can't be sold in California? Absolutely not. So I'm going to share that with you, exactly what I found out, in just 1 second. But here's an update from what's going on with the dealership. So it's been about 6 solid business days. And as of Thursday, I sent an email to the general manager, who's an amazing guy, wonderful guy, tremendously helpful, and he's stressed out about this thing too. I mean, nobody's really happy that this is happening. And he said he's waiting to hear back from the rep for the manufacturer to get him some information on whether there's a solution or resolution for this. Everything I've read doesn't look like there is going to be one, but he's trying to pull a rabbit out of the hat, maybe save the day and get me to be able to keep this Hellcat. If it can't happen, he is committed. They're going to buy the car back and they're going to unwind the deal and everything's going to go just fine. I'll get all my money back and we'll just go back to square one. The only problem with that is there's still a shortage of new Hellcats in California, and they're all going for $95,000, $100,000, $120,000 in California, which still makes no sense, but I'm kind of locked out of being able to buy another one, which means I'll have to order another one, which, as I said in my other video, is I'm probably just going to go with a jailbreak or a red eye. We'll see what happens. We'll do a whole video series on that when and if that takes place. But that's where I'm at with the dealership. They told me on Thursday that unfortunately, because of the long weekend for Memorial Day, probably won't get an answer. I shared with them every single day how frustrated I was and how I needed to get an answer that week, but I understand it just couldn't happen. So my last email to the general manager, I did some research and I found Tim Kuniskis's email, CEO of Chrysler, Dodge, and now Stellantis for this product, and I found his email addresses. I found 3 of them, and 2 of them went through, 1 of them got bounced back, and I put him on the email as well. Not that I expect him to get it. My experience, though, in the past with very, very large companies is they're not the most efficient at resolving problems. Sometimes it just takes too long, and every day that this 4,500 pound paperweight is sitting in my garage and I can't do anything with it, can't drive it, my level of frustration is going up. Even my credit union has shared their frustration with me as well when I share this with them, because now we're accruing interest on a car that I'm probably not going to keep. I'm sure the dealer's going to make that right as well, but that's where I'm at with that nightmare. But I want to answer some questions. The question I'm getting the most of is, how did you buy the Scat Pack? And that was fine. and the Hellcat is not fine. And can I not buy a Hellcat in California now? Will they not pass smog? And the answer is no. I wasn't clear in the last video, and I apologize for that. Here's how that works. There are 50 state vehicles, and there are 49 state vehicles. And it doesn't make sense for cars that are being sold in every other state but California to be certified and registered with CARB in California to be a 50 state vehicle. So they don't set those up for California. And I don't know that there's any equipment difference on the cars because this car passed smog perfectly with flying colors. There were balloons and confetti that came out of the sky when this passed smog a week ago. I don't know that, somebody said maybe it's copper brakes or something like that. I don't know what equipment could be different on this car when it passed smog just fine, nor do I understand that why, if the car had 7,500 miles on it and then was sold to me, that it would be perfectly fine to bring to California. My suspicion is it has to be about money. And when these manufacturers sell the cars, they set the cars up for 50 states or 49 states. And this car was set up for 49 states. And what I found is on the stickers or the order sheet that I got, it did not list that this would be a 50 state car. And then I went and did some research, and I'll put up on the screen here that other orders did have, especially orders for California. I found one here that did have it listed that it was a 50 state car. My order did not say 50 state car. So it looks like maybe at the dealership when the order was put in, it was not specified as a 50 state car, that it would be going to California. Therefore, the manufacturer just built the car and sent it to them thinking it's being sold in St. Louis, Missouri, and everything's going to be fine. The problem is it was going to California, so it needed to be specified. I don't think, I know they didn't mean to do this. I know this was a situation that they haven't had to deal with in the past, most likely, so it caught them by surprise, caught me by surprise. There are plenty of Hellcats in California. There are some for sale right now in California. You can order one in California. It's going to show up as a 50 state car, and it's going to say it on the order sheet, something I never thought I needed to look for. Now, I know. So you know, if you order a car, make sure it says 50 state car. It says it right there. I'll put it on the screen right here so you can see it, that it's a 50 state car. So hopefully that clarifies to everybody that yes, you can get Hellcats in California all day long. You can get almost any car in California. It just has to be specified as a 50 state car, meaning probably, don't quote me on this, but maybe they paid California some money for that car to be able to come here. I'm just assuming that's it. It doesn't have anything to do with taxes because I paid the taxes. It was almost, $6,000 in taxes to California. That money was paid to California for this car. It'll have to come back, obviously. So it wasn't about that. It's got to be part of the whole smog laws and regulations. Another thing doesn't make sense. Which leads me to the next question that many of you have asked me is, why don't I just have a friend register this car out of state? Or why don't I just start a Montana LLC that so many people tend to do with their RVs and their very high-line expensive cars, or non-smog legal cars? Well, I'll tell you why, because the hoops I have to jump through to do that, meaning I have to now find somebody to use their residence, or I need to start an LLC. All these things take time. Yes, I did look up in Montana. It would take me a day to start the LLC, but because I have a loan on this car, it complicates the whole process because I don't have the title, and the loan was originated here. All my insurance is here. So it's a little bit more complicated than everybody thinks it is to set this thing up. Plus, to me, it's not worth it. I bought a car intended for California. I want a car intended for California. I want to have California license plates on my car. Think about this. When a Lamborghini Aventador that's worth $1 million gets registered, it costs a fortune, maybe $6,000, $7,000 for the tags on that Lamborghini. I understand why that guy might do a Montana LLC for that thing, or $1.5 million motorhome. I understand why they might do that. This is basically an $80,000 car. Do you realize how incredibly cheap I look driving this thing around with Montana plates? And then I have to explain to everybody I see. Somebody said, well, why don't you just find a friend in Arizona and register it there? Again, I have to establish some level of residency there, maybe even get a driver's license there or start a corporation there. All these things take time and they take money. And that doesn't make sense because if I'm going to pay for a car that's worth this much money, I might as well just wait another couple of months, order the car, and wait for that thing to arrive and get a California car. It's like $800-900 to start a corporation, an LLC in Montana, and then the time, it's like 5 weeks to get that thing through. It's a whole bunch of headaches I have to do. Plus, I do feel like I'm kind of maybe being a little shady in doing that, especially with a car that's not $1.5 million motorhome or a $500,000 Aventador. It just doesn't make sense. And I shouldn't have to do that. Hopefully you all understand. I shouldn't have to go register this thing at some other state to be able to keep it. I should be able to order another car, wait another few months. Hopefully these guys will have enough sympathy at the manufacturer to move me up in line and help me get a car quicker, or at least find a dealer that will sell me some standing inventory at sticker. That'd be nice. We'll see what happens there. And the next comment I got was, well, why don't you just drive it 7,500 miles and then register it in California? Because the originating purchase date and who bought it was me. And that means that it's already in the system, especially after I tried to smog the thing, that it was bought here. So just driving at 7,500 miles, I could hit 7,501 miles and go try and register it, and they will not register this car. As a matter of fact, one thing I read not on the forums, not sure if this is true, but that since I tried to smog it, it was flagged in the California emission systems database and now has a vehicle license transfer hold or freeze on it, meaning this car may never be able to get sold in California again because it was not legally sold in California. So I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just telling you what I'm reading online. So I may be dead in the water with this thing, and I'd hate to throw 7,500 miles on it and find that out at that point. Besides, the way I look at it, this is not a daily driver. It's going to take me probably a year to pump 7,500 miles on this thing, and I don't want to just pump the miles on it just rapidly and devalue the car just to get it registered. Somebody also said, well, why don't you sell it back to the dealership and then have them put 7,500 miles on it and then sell it back to you? Because that's going to take time. Who there is going to drive this thing 7,500 miles? What are they going to do? Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Stick it on some blocks and run it up 7,500 miles? Then I go back out there, give them full sticker for this thing? And all of these ideas, the biggest challenge I see is that I have to unwind this thing. I have to unwind this thing no matter what. They all entail the same exact process, which is unwinding the car and then reselling the car to me. Now, mind you, I took a loan out from my credit union for this car. That means that loan has to get paid off. And just a heads up, every time you close out anything on your credit, any loan, whether it's a credit card or a car loan or installment loan or anything on your credit, you're going to lose some points in your FICO score. Well, because of what I've done this last 60 days in buying one Camry and then returning it, and that loan made it to my credit and then closed, and then buying another Camry and then selling the Scat Pack and paying off that loan and having that be a closed account, and now I'm going to have this be a closed account on my credit, my FICO score has been hammered. And I'll tell you, it's about 11 points what I found every time I pay something off and close an account. So that hurts when you're talking about, for me alone, taking a hit of about 30 points just in the last 2 months on my credit. Now, it'll come back in the next probably 60 to 90 days. But in the meantime, I need to go buy another car, which affects interest rates. So even if I paid this thing off and then bought it the next day, the credit union, along with higher interest rates just in the economy today, along with a FICO score hit that I've had to take, potentially I'm going to pay more interest on the same exact car that I bought just, 58 days ago or so. So there is no good solution, no matter how I cut and look at this thing, other than them finding a way to get this car to be legal to register in California, which is a wild long shot, or them unwinding this car and then selling me another car. And some of you are wondering, why would I go back to them? Look, they do me right on unwinding a very unfortunate situation. I'm good with them. They're human beings, mistakes happen, and frankly, all of us are caught off guard on this thing. And they will do me right. And I'm still flying out there to go visit my friends this year anyways, so it just makes sense that I go out there, order the car, pick up another car. And they don't charge markups, and they made sure the car gets delivered to me for free. So they're good. I'm good with them at this point. And I'll keep you up to date on the progress, and as long as this thing ends well, then I think I'm going to end up being happy with the outcome down the road. It might take me a couple of months, but I'm keeping a happy face on because there's much bigger problems in the world today. From the horrible school shooting last week that frankly broke my heart, having a young child that I love more than anything in the world. There's much bigger problems in the world, and it's all about perspective, everybody. And in my life, I realize that when I'm sitting here boo-hooing about things like a car or any other small issue in my life compared to the real problems out there, that's the most selfish thing I can do. So the reality of it is boo-hoo, I'm gonna have to give this car back, buy another car. In the grand scheme of the issues out in the world, this is a small problem. It's an irritating problem and one I wish I didn't have, but I gotta keep perspective in the world. I'm beyond blessed with everything I have in my life, my beautiful family, my incredible friends, my amazing home, everything I have. I mean, literally, I said the other day, my life could not be any better today. And this little problem is just a bump in the road. And I appreciate all of you and all of the amazing comments you left on that last video, because you were so supportive about sticking with the channel. And some of you said you wouldn't care if I was driving a bicycle, you would still watch the channel, and that means so much to me. And the very next day, I put a Toyota Camry video up and blacked out the window trim on that thing and blacked out the logos, and I got maybe 800 views in the first day, and I was like, nobody's watching my stuff despite all the kind comments. And then literally within 3 days, that sucker flew, and within a week, actually less than a week now, that thing's over 5,000 views, and I expect that video to continue on despite it being about a Toyota Camry. So thank you all so much for following the channel. Thanks for all of your support. We will get past and we'll get through this, and it will make for some good content, and I'm glad it's not happening to any of you, because it's kind of a pain in the ass. But thanks again. Please stay motivated, be respectful in the comments, like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.